There's a certain kind of silence you only hear outdoors. Not the quiet of a closed room, not the muted calm of midnight in a city. I mean the kind of silence that stretches, that breathes, that listens back. If you've ever camped before, really camped, you'll know what I mean. The moment the fire dies down, when the laughter fades, when the last phone battery drains, and it's just you. In the dark, have you ever felt like the forest was waiting for something? Not watching, waiting. Tonight, we're not talking about ghosts in houses. We're talking about places without walls, places without boundaries, places where things don't need doors to come in. 6 stories. 6 people who went out into the wild and came back with something they can't explain. Or worse, didn't come back alone. So before we begin, think carefully. Have you ever gone camping somewhere remote, far enough that help wasn't immediate, far enough that if something called your name, it wouldn't be human? Because after tonight, you might remember something you ignored, or something that followed you home. This is episode 14, the campsite that kept us. Let's begin. My name is Caleb Mercer. This happened in Montana, US, and before I start, I need you to answer something honestly. When you go camping, do you count? Not supplies, not gear. I mean people. Do you make sure the same number that went in comes back out? Because we didn't. And by the time we realized, it was already too late. There were 5 of us. Me, my girlfriend Erin, my cousin Tyler, and 2 friends, Marcus and Dean. We'd planned a backcountry trip near Glacier National Park. Remote area, no reception, no marked campsites, exactly what we wanted. You ever feel that pull? To go somewhere untouched? Somewhere the world feels older than you? That's what drew us there. We hiked in for most of the day, dense pine forest, the kind where sunlight barely reaches the ground. By the time we stopped, it was getting dark. We found a clearing, small, uneven, but workable. Set up camp quick, 5 tents, 1 each. We weren't sharing, everyone wanted their own space. Simple. Clear 5 people, 5 tents. That first night, normal. Fire, stories, a bit of drinking, nothing strange, no weird sounds, no tension, just the forest doing what forests do. We turned in around midnight. I woke up around 2:30 a.m. No reason, just that sudden awareness, like something pulled you out of sleep. You ever had that? No sound. No movement, just awake. I lay there for a minute, listening. The forest was quiet, too quiet. No insects, no wind, no movement. That's when I noticed something. Light. Faint, coming through the fabric of my tent. Like someone had a lantern on. I figured it was Marcus. He usually stayed up late, so I unzipped the tent and froze. There were 6 tents. I blinked, counted again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same style, same size, same color. Set in a perfect circle like it had always been there. Except it hadn't. I would have noticed. We all would have noticed. You don't just miss an entire tent. I stepped out slowly, heart already picking up. The extra tent was between Tyler's and Dean's. Close enough that it should have been obvious from the start. But it wasn't. It felt inserted. Like it had been added after we went to sleep. I told myself there was an explanation. Another camper, someone arrived late, set up quietly, didn't want to disturb us. That's reasonable, right? That's what you'd think too. So I walked over, carefully, not wanting to startle whoever was inside. "Hey," I said quietly. No response. I got closer. "Hello?" Still nothing. Then I noticed the zipper, it was closed from the inside. And the fabric, it was slightly moving, not like wind, like breathing. Slow, steady, something was inside. Tell me something. If you found a tent that wasn't there before, and something inside it was breathing, would you open it? I didn't. I stepped back, fast. Went straight to Tyler's tent, woke him up. "Count the tents," I whispered. He groaned at first, then he looked, then he sat up instantly. "Why are there 6? Exactly." We woke everyone else, quietly. No panic yet, just confusion. Marcus laughed at first. Someone joined the party late. but when he walked up to it, he stopped. Same as me. He could feel it too, something wasn't right. We stood there in a circle, 5 of us, 6 tents, one of them, wrong. Dean made the mistake. "I'll check it," he said. Before anyone could stop him, he reached forward and grabbed the zipper. It opened slowly, too smoothly, like it was being pulled from the inside. We all leaned forward just slightly, trying to see inside. It was dark, too dark, like the light from our fire didn't reach in, even though it should have. Then a shape, curled, human, facing away from us, breathing. "Hey," Dean said. No response. He leaned closer. "Hey man, this is our campsite." The figure moved, just slightly, like it heard him, like it was waking up. Then it spoke. Dean? Dean froze. That was his name. But the voice, it sounded like him. Not similar, not close, exact. We all stepped back at the same time. The figure shifted again, slowly turning, but not fully. Not enough to see its face, just enough to show it knew we were there. "Why are you outside?" it asked, still in Dean's voice, perfectly calm, perfectly wrong. "Tell me something. If something sounded exactly like you, from inside a place it shouldn't exist, would you respond?" Dean didn't. None of us did. We just stood there, frozen, waiting. Then, from behind us, a voice. "Why are you all over there?" We turned. Dean, standing behind us, alive, confused, holding his flashlight. No one spoke. No one moved. Because now, one behind us, one inside the tent. The one in the tent stopped breathing, completely. Silence. Then, slowly, the zipper started closing. From the inside, we ran. No discussion, no packing. We grabbed what we could and ran, straight into the trees. Didn't care about direction, didn't care about gear, just distance. We didn't stop until sunrise. When we finally did, we counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone there, everyone breathing, everyone real. We made it back to the trail by noon. Got to the car, drove out, didn't speak about it much, didn't want to. But here's the part that keeps me awake. When I got home, I unpacked my bag. Something was off, heavier than it should have been. I checked inside. There was a 6 sleeping bag, not mine, not anyone's. Same brand, same color, same wear pattern. But slightly wrong, like a copy. And stitched into the inside lining, there was a name, my name. Tell me something. If we had stayed that night, would there have been 6 of us in the morning? Or would one of us have been replaced? Because I still think about that tent, about the way it breathed, about the way it knew us. And sometimes, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel something, just outside my room, still waiting. Like it's already set up, like it's just waiting for me to unzip it. My name is Daniel Carter. This happened in the Lake District, UK. And before you ask, no, we didn't get lost. At least, not in the way you think. It was supposed to be a simple weekend trip. 4 of us. Me, my brother Liam, his girlfriend Sarah, and my longtime friend Josh. We weren't amateurs. We'd done this before. Multiple hikes, overnight camps, navigation training. We brought everything. Compass, GPS, physical maps, trail markers. We chose a route just off the usual paths, nothing extreme, just quiet enough to avoid crowds. That's what we wanted. Isolation, that feeling of being alone with nature. You ever crave that? To just disappear for a bit? No noise, no people, just trees and sky. It feels good at first, it really does. We arrived around 3 p.m. Clear skies, cool air, perfect conditions. We hiked about 2 hours in before setting up camp near a clearing. There was something about that spot. Flat ground, natural windbreak from the trees, a small stream nearby. It felt right. You ever found a place like that? Where you don't question it, you just know this is where we stay? That's how it felt. We set up tents, got the fire going, cooked, laughed, drank a bit. Normal, nothing strange. Until Josh made a joke. Feels like we're being watched. We laughed it off. Because everyone says that at some point outdoors, right? That uneasy feeling, like eyes in the dark. You felt that before, haven't you? That moment when you look into the trees and think, did something just move? Around midnight, we turned in. I woke up to a sound, soft, rhythmic, like something tapping wood. Tap, tap, tap. At first, I thought it was branches in the wind, but there was no wind. Then I realized it was coming from outside my tent. Close, too close. I held my breath, listening, tap, tap. Then it stopped, just silence, thick silence, the kind that presses against your ears. I unzipped the tent slightly, just enough to look out. The fire had died down to embers. The clearing looked normal, except the trees looked closer. I know how that sounds, but I mean physically closer, like the edge of the forest had moved in. I zipped the tent shut immediately, told myself I was imagining it, went back to sleep. Morning came, everything looked fine again. Normal spacing, normal light. I didn't say anything, didn't want to sound paranoid. But then Sarah spoke. Did anyone hear knocking last night? We all froze. Josh laughed nervously. Probably animals. Liam nodded. Yeah, just wildlife. But no one looked convinced. We decided to hike further in that day. Exploration. Clear our heads. Before leaving, we did something important. We marked our trail. Bright orange ribbons tied to branches every 20 meters. Standard practice. No way to get lost, right? We walked for about an hour, talking, joking again, the tension fading. Then Josh stopped. Didn't we already pass this? What do you mean? I asked. That rock. We all looked. Large, split boulder, distinct shape. We'd definitely seen it before. Liam shook his head. Plenty of rocks look like that. We kept going. 10 minutes later, another ribbon, our ribbon. But we hadn't turned around. We hadn't looped. The path had been straight. That's when it hit us. The markers weren't behind us. They were ahead of us, as if someone or something had gone ahead and placed them. Exactly like we would. Spacing perfect. Knots identical. Even the same tear patterns in the fabric. Tell me something. If you saw your own trail markers ahead of you, what would you do? Keep going or turn back? We turned back, immediately, fast, trying to retrace steps. But the forest didn't feel the same. Paths felt slightly off. Landmarks shifted. The stream we passed earlier, gone, just dry ground. And then, we saw the campsite. Except it wasn't where we left it. The clearing was smaller, the tents closer together like the space had shrunk. That night, none of us slept properly. We kept the fire going bright. Stayed awake in shifts. Around 3 a.m. it happened again, the tapping. But this time it came from multiple directions. Tap, 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 all around us, slow, deliberate, like something circling. Then a voice, soft from the trees. Daniel. My blood went cold. It sounded like Liam, but Liam was sitting right next to me. He heard it too. His face drained of color. Did you just... Yes, I whispered. The voice came again, closer. Daniel, come here. It wasn't just copying his voice. It was copying his tone. Perfectly. Tell me something. If something in the woods called your name, using the voice of someone sitting beside you, would you answer? I didn't, but Josh did. Hello, he shouted. The tapping stopped instantly, dead silence. Then, a single tap, right behind his tent. He turned. We all did. And for a split second, I saw something, between the trees, tall, too tall, standing where no person should be, watching. Then it stepped back and disappeared. We didn't wait for morning. We packed in the dark, left everything we couldn't carry, just moved, fast, following the compass, ignoring the trails, ignoring the markers, because we didn't trust them anymore. It took us 6 hours to get out. It should have taken 2. When we finally reached the road, all 4 of us collapsed. Relief, pure relief. We made it out, right? 2 days later, I checked my bag. There was an extra ribbon inside, orange, same material, same tear pattern. But I didn't pack it, none of us did. And tied to it was a small knot, different from ours, tighter, more complex, like something had been learning. I don't go camping anymore. Not like that, not deep, not isolated, because I keep thinking about something. Those markers ahead of us, they weren't random. They were leading somewhere. And we didn't follow them, but something followed us. Tell me honestly, if you were there, would you have followed the trail? Before you go, think about where you are right now. Your room, your walls, your space. It feels contained, safe, defined. But out there are no walls, no edges, no limits. Just open space and things that don't need boundaries. Tonight, you heard 6 stories, 6 different places, different people, different outcomes. But the pattern is the same. Something waits, not in the dark, not in the trees, not in the water, in the space around you, watching, learning, mimicking. Tell me, have you ever gone somewhere and come back feeling like something stayed behind? Or worse, like something came back with you? Because here's the truth, no one tells you about the wild. It doesn't belong to us. We pass through it, briefly, carelessly, and sometimes something notices, something curious, something patient, something that doesn't understand us but wants to. So it listens to your voice, your footsteps, your breathing, and it learns. And once it learns enough, it doesn't need you anymore. It just needs to become you. So tonight, when you turn off your lights, when the room goes quiet, when you hear your own breathing in the dark, pause, listen carefully. Because if there's even the slightest delay, the smallest echo, the faintest second rhythm, don't ignore it. And whatever you do, don't answer if something calls your name. Because some campsites don't let you leave. They just let something else take your place. Until the next whisper.
You've been listening to Mr. Haunting Whispers, where every truth leaves a scar. If the story unsettled you, good. That means you were listening. Subscribe and stay close to the dark, because the next whisper might be for you.